what up? Welcome to another episode of the Oakland Warriors podcast. I'm Patrick, flying solo. So in the final game of the 21-22 regular season, the Golden State Warriors beat the New Orleans Pelicans 128-107. I gotta say, that was one hell of a regular season. I can't believe it's already over. It's a really long season, but then just like that, you blink and it's done. You know, at the beginning of the season, had all these thoughts, had all these opinions, and to know that this is the final game and that in this game, Klay Thompson played 31 minutes, went 16 for 29, 7 for 14 from three, 2 for 3 from the free throw line, plus 25, 41 points. Yeah, you go back to October to training camp, and if you told me that Klay would have that kind of line by the end of the season, I would have been like, he's back. Amazing. You know, it's safe to say that he is starting to look like he's ready for the postseason. I've talked about this already a little bit too. It's like he came back, you know, was working his way back in mentally, physically, and all that stuff. And then when he had that illness, it threw him off. And now he's just needed a little bit of time to get used to playing with Draymond, to get used to playing without Steph, to get used to playing with Poole and all these new guys. And all these games came pretty fast and furious in him. And in the past couple weeks, he's actually had breaks between games. You know, he didn't play in SAC and he had 3 days off, you know, so that's 4 days off total. And then he took the Spurs game off, and I think like it's helped him. So I'm expecting with this break between this game and the first round game against the Denver Nuggets that it'll be good for him. He can just marinate on this performance that he had and know that he's building up and building forward. So that's great. And then of course with the playoffs, there's more space between games. Usually a couple days at least, sometimes 3 days. So that's all really, really promising. This is what we wanted from Klay. You know, it's been rough patches and stuff. So I look forward to seeing what he'll do, especially once Steph is on the court. Jordan Poole, 28 minutes, 7 for 16, 4 for 9 from three, hit both of his free throws, 5 assists, 4 boards, 22 points. Great. Jordan Poole, like I mentioned in the previous episode, he is that guy that we hoped he would be. That guy who will attack the basket, will hit big shots, will shoot from outside, shoot from inside, give a different change of pace, have those young legs, be fearless, and run the offense, initiate, get other guys involved, and do it consistently, right? That last point about consistency was the main sticking point. And it looks like he has gotten past that. So I look forward to seeing his debut in the playoffs, you know. I think he's built for playoff moments, and I'm expecting him to really, really step it up. Jonathan Kuminga, my guy, 29 minutes, 7 for 10, 3 for 4 from 3, 5 rebounds, 2 assists, only 2 fouls, plus 21, 18 points. Another little sample for why he should get some legit playoff minutes. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that he should be playing 25 minutes a game or anything like that in the playoffs, right? The playoffs are a different beast. It is tougher, but he shouldn't be getting 4 minutes like he was getting for the last couple of weeks. Once Andre Iguodala got back into the lineup and Kerr started going with all the vets, like he can't just play 4 minutes. Yeah, in this game, the Warriors built a pretty big lead and then they let it slip, but then they took it back against a play-in team. A play-in team that didn't have anything to play for, pretty much. But hey, you know, when the Warriors were playing pretty poorly a couple weeks ago, what I hoped, looking at the schedule, is that they would at least sweep their final few games, because that would build momentum, make them feel good about themselves, create some good vibes around the team, around the fan base as well. And that's what they did. You got to be thankful that the schedule makers gave the Warriors a pretty decent opening season schedule and ending season schedule, right? They started the season strong, very strong, and then these past few games, they finished strong. You know, it was just like play some mediocre to bad teams and get your mojo right. And now they got 5 days off to work on things, to get healthy, to get right, to plan for the Nuggets, to get all that stuff set up. But real quick, Aram and I are going to do a playoff preview soon, but I just wanted to talk about the Nuggets. I've been saying that for me, like I wanted the Utah Jazz ideally because they don't scare me. They have nobody on their team that really jumps out as a threat, especially in the playoffs. They're not good playoff performers in general, but to me, getting the Nuggets is fine. I've said that. And part of it was also because for the last couple of weeks, we didn't know if Michael Porter Jr. and or Jamal Murray would be coming back. And we know now that it doesn't seem like they are. And even though the Nuggets beat the Warriors in the season series 3-1, Draymond didn't play in any of those. You go back to end of December, right? Like when Draymond was out for one game, and then there was that game where the Nuggets could have fielded a team and played against the Warriors. This was when there were a lot of guys missing due to COVID and COVID protocols, but the Nuggets chose to punt on that game, and Draymond was available. Draymond actually talked smack about Denver not playing in that one, but that game was pushed until recently, and that was a game that the Warriors played well in with their subs, but then they lost. So bottom line is the Denver Nuggets have Nikola Jokic, right? And it's a question of, do they have the best player in the series? Maybe, maybe not. Depends on how Steph looks when he gets back. But without Jamal Murray and Michael Porter Jr., it's going to be even tougher. And let's face facts. If those guys were to have come back by now, or even if they magically come back somewhere in the first round, then they're going to be so out of rhythm, so out of shape in terms of conditioning, no matter what. Nothing can replace actual game time in terms of getting your body up to speed. I mean, just look at Klay Thompson. He was playing for months before he came back. And Jamal Murray's been out for a year. He got hurt in San Francisco at Chase Center. So the Warriors' losses to the Nuggets were kind of, I don't want to say, it's not like they had asterisks next to them, but like they were kind of aberrations. There was that one where they just kept fouling Looney and the Warriors had 8-point lead. But then because Looney missed most of his free throws, it mucked up the game and threw the Warriors off, and the Nuggets came back and they won. So I guarantee you that kind of thing won't happen again. But we'll see if Mike Malone decides to hack Looney or hack Andrew Wiggins, which is something I referred to in the last episode. I worry that Wiggins will cost the Warriors a game somewhere down the line because of his free throw shooting somehow, some way. But as I've said, and I'll stick to it, if Steph, Klay, and Draymond are healthy, I like the Warriors' chances a lot, especially the way Klay is starting to play. And it'll take some time for Steph to get into the flow, but he's been out for a month. It's not like he's been like Draymond out for 2-3 months before he came back, or like Klay, who was out for 2.5 years. I don't think it'll take him too long, especially if they have this week to kind of, get right and then run some practices, run some scrimmages and stuff just to get Steph familiar, comfortable with everybody else. And then if you add Jordan Poole into the mix, the way he's been playing, this is a Warriors team that the Denver Nuggets have not seen, period. That's it. As good as Jokic is, I will take Steph, Klay, and Jordan Poole as guards, as shooters over Monty Morris, Austin Rivers, and even the Warriors killer, Will Barton. The NBA playoffs mean next level basketball. Get ready for all the action by betting the play-in tournament with DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA. New customers can bet $5 on any team to win and get $150 in free bets instantly. You clinch a win no matter what. All DraftKings Sportsbook customers can also bet on NBA hoops with same-game parlays. Combine multiple bets from the same game for a bigger payout. The more legs you add, the more money you can win. Plus, for each day of the play-in, get a risk-free bet up to $10 if your same-game parlay doesn't hit. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Use promo code TBPN. Bet $5 on any NBA team to win their game during the play-in tournament and get $150 in free bets instantly. That's promo code TBPN at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA. Minimum age and eligibility restrictions apply. See show notes for details. Top to bottom, the Warriors have a better lineup. So as long as they're healthy, as long as they click, I fully expect them to be fine in this series. Jokic himself will probably win the Nuggets a couple of games. But that being said, I don't know. I didn't expect to make a prediction right now, and this might change by the time the game rolls around, depending on what reporting comes out about how the Warriors look and how their injuries and whatever look. I say the Warriors in 6, It's a tough series because the Nuggets are still a good team and, they have the MVP, maybe 2-time MVP, but we'll see. We'll see. I'm looking forward to it. I'm hyped for playoff basketball. I mean, it feels like it's been ages, so we'll see how it goes. And one final thing, I want to give a shout out to Kevon Looney for playing all 82 games. And, everybody knows that that's something he was going for this season. And it's a hell of a feat because not many dudes play 82 games in a year. And he plays as an undersized center against some big dudes. And we know he's had that injury history. So obviously that's a big reason why he wanted to do it. There were times when people thought his career might be over, and he's just been so rock solid and steady. Somebody that a lot of folks take for granted. Sometimes we get frustrated with him when people pass him the ball and he can't really do much with it. But aside from all that, I'm very, very glad that the Warriors have him. You can count on him to do all the right things, within his lane. So that's huge. And 82 games, man, that is tough. Like, doing a podcast for 82 games is tough. Playing 82 games, it's probably a little bit tougher. Sitting here talking on a microphone might be a little bit easier than actually having your body bruised up by elbows to the chest and forearms to the back and all that stuff. So props to Kevon Looney, man. But 100% definitely looking forward to what's to come. It's going to be really, really fun to see all these guys back together and then competing on the big stage. This is all that we've wanted, right? We're actually going to see Steph, Klay, Draymond, and Andre Iguodala play in playoff games. Wow. Right? You go back to 2019, especially after Andre Iguodala got traded, then it's like you thought it was over and Klay was out. And this team slowly pieced itself back together, health-wise, player-wise, roster-wise, and here we are. Aram and I will have a playoff preview coming up this week after the play-in round, but we also will have a kind of season in review, regular season in review, where we talk about maybe predictions on the season and how they turned out, what we liked, who we liked this season, and what we didn't like and who we didn't like from this season. So it'll be fun. Tune in for that probably in the next couple of days. Anyway, that's another episode of the Oakland Warriors podcast. Be sure to subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. Feel free to hit me up on Twitter at Patrick Epino, E-P-I-N-O, or at Oakland Warriors. Check out our new YouTube channel. The link will be in the show notes. Be sure to check us out at oaklandwarriors.com, and be sure to tell your fellow Warrior fan friends to tune in and listen. The Oakland Warriors podcast is produced by National Film Society and is a part of the Basketball Podcast Network. And if you can, please do leave us a 5-star rating on Spotify and or Apple Podcasts, and also leave us a nice review on Apple Podcasts. That would be super helpful. Thanks for listening. That's it. Music in this episode provided by Paper Sun. Special thanks to Paul Amardo for production support. See you next time, and go Dubs.